I've been out of state. I've been in state. I've been a part of dorm life. I've been a commuter. I've done all the things, public, private. Let's have a chat. As of June 13th of 2026, I graduated with my Bachelor's of Arts in Public Relations and Advertising with a minor in Communication and Media. And let's just say within those 5 years, with the gap year in between, it's been a wild ride. I've had a conversation amongst a lot of people, in college or not. And I've always prefaced the fact that college is not for everybody. Most times we're met with the same two options we've always been brought up when we leave high school. Either go to college or get a job. But in the way that this world is going now, there's a lot of things that you can do in between. You can start trade school, go into the union. You can get an internship, apprenticeship, all of the things. You can go straight to work if you want, if you have something set up. But to the people who are wondering how they fit in the whole college life, as someone who's gone through all of it, not just being in one university, I like to help out and give you 26 tips as being class of 2026. What are my credentials, you may ask? So I went to school in Kent State, Ohio. I was an undeclared major for a little bit until I eventually found my way in the realm of advertising. But since I was out of state, I was coming from Illinois. That's a 5-6 hour drive from Illinois to Ohio, and I was there for 2 years. I was in a very rocky relationship. Like, it was my first long-term relationship. Not to say that that was like the biggest factor. Well, it was one of the main factors of me coming back home, but there was nothing for me in Ohio. What even is Ohio? I grew up in Chicago, and the majority of the advertising, the creative like adaptability that you can find in Chicago is there's a lot of opportunity, and me just being in Ohio felt like it didn't make any sense to me. I only went there. You're probably wondering, okay, why did you even go there in the first place? They had a zoology program because I was originally going to be a zoologist. I love animals. I love learning about animal behavior. I have so many animal facts in my head that you probably wouldn't care to know, but like I just have them. And when I figured out how much work that would go into as far as like science and stuff, I thought, I should have stuck that out a little bit more. Maybe I should have just like, instead of jumping the gun and being like, no, who knows where I would have been right now. But shoulda, coulda, woulda. I still think about that. I still love animals. My love for animals never left. But some things I do think about still. And I moved back home and I took a gap year because I was like, it's getting a little weird. Like, my mind is like all over the place. I'm a bit depressed, like I don't know what's going on. I don't think I can jump back into school. I want to go back to school. That was never a thought that like I questioned. I always wanted to be back into school. I always prioritized my education like no other. And funny enough, I think in many videos back a few years ago at this point, in one of my videos, I talked about how I was looking at DePaul as like out of like whimsiness. I was kind of homesick and I was thinking about DePaul and coming back there and living in Munson City again. And I was like, man, like being back there would be nice. And then I stuck it out for like another year and I was like, you know what? Maybe DePaul. And they accepted me. So now I'm here. And I will be getting my master's in writing, rhetoric, and discourse this upcoming fall. DePaul's room and board is a bit expensive, so I do have a cute little commute of an hour and a half. Overall, it kind of takes like 3 hours when you really think about it, like the act of getting up, getting ready, make sure you get there on time. And there will be points where the amount of commuting that I take is longer than the amount of classes that I'm in for the day. Kind of silly, but it's for the strongest soldiers. It's not for the weak. It does weed out the weak, I will say. This is really what this video is just here to help you for, just to kind of give you that understanding, giving you a little bit of clarity, giving you a little bit of like, okay, things are going to be okay. A little bit of reassurance, because I've been there, done that. But grad school edition, come back to me in a few years, because I'm not really sure. I don't have the full credentials on that. I'm just about to step into that realm in a couple months. Number one, take a year. When you're thinking about either dropping out of college, if you haven't hit 2 semesters, keep going. I am speaking to the people who have the financial security of trying college out. You know what I mean? If it's not in your cards, if there's something that happened in your family, you personally, I get it 100%. If college is not for you, I severely challenge you to just stick out one full year. Use my high school for example. We were in school. School started at 7:25. First bell was at 7:25, and then we leave at 2:25. That's 7 hours. 7 hours, 5 days a week for 4 years. Now, 4 years, you're choosing your own schedule. You get up at the time you want. The workload is a little bit different, but you have the ability to do all that you need to do within it because you're not going every single day. Depending on your major, there are some classes that you have to go like every single day, whether you have a lab or something like that, maybe part of your gen eds, but stick that out. You have to understand it is a shift. You have to get acclimated to it. It's not going to take just a semester for you to be like, okay, now I'm okay with it. Your body is actually just starting to get used to the fact that you don't have to get up every single day. But now you have an 8 a.m. on Mondays, and then the only class you have on Fridays is like a 3 p.m. Get used to how you feel when you're scheduling the classes. As soon as I found out that I'm like a Tuesday, Thursday girly, all of my classes are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I have Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's what did it for me. And you just stick to it. Sometimes you might have to bend the knee, and one semester you might not get the schedule you want. That happens. Knowing who you are as a student is so important, but you can't figure that out if you just give it a little bit more time. If you have the means, stick it out for a year. Number 2, make friends with your classmates. It's gonna give you so much clarity of knowing somebody in your class, whether you wake up and all of a sudden you're sick, something happened, or you have to prepare something last minute for another class that you have to show up for, but you can't really do it because you have this class, and if you just miss that class, you have enough time. So if you reach out to somebody in your class, I say 3. At least 3. 2, but if you want some extra security, I say 3. The first person is probably going to be like the person you sit next to in your assigned seats. You just see them a few times and you're like, hey, how's it going? The professor will probably like open up a discussion and you have to talk to that person next to you. Sure. Then there'll be some times where you get mixed in with some stuff, or you get in some group work and then you have a conversation that way. But if it's a different kind of format of class, reach out. If you see somebody that has like a really cool t-shirt or something in your class, or you're seeing a show that people are talking about and you're that, you have that gusto of asking people, hey, is anybody watching XYZ? Boom, you've got a connection. Boom, you have their Instagram, their number, whatever they feel comfortable giving you. And if one of those days you're like, hey, I can't make it to class, are you in class? Can you give me the notes? Total game changer. But other than that, make friends all around campus. But like, make friends with your classmates. Who knows? Maybe they'll be a lifelong friend that you have. Just because you're like, oh, like, we met because we sat next to each other in Psych 101. Number 3, for my commuters, set a routine the night before and stick to it. It's going to help you in the long run if you are someone who wants to pack a lunch, if you have a train to make in the morning. Make sure everything is packed already. So if you hit the point where you fell asleep, you slept past your alarm, you forgot to make your alarm, for some reason you can't hear your alarm and it was going off and you're late, in the very least, you can just grab your stuff, brush your teeth real quick, throw on some clothes and go. There is a whole horror story that I had about waking up for a final exam that I thought I was gonna fail because I woke up 40 minutes or like an hour before my exam. And with traffic, I live an hour away, but it was on a Saturday, so it was like a cute little 40. I was running inside of my exam room, so it was like I made it with an extra couple minutes late, but my professor was like really understanding because I was speaking through my other classmates that were there on my behalf. See how it helps? Make sure your laptop is charged, whatever device that you use. Your headphones, pack your headphones. There have been so many times where I left and I went to class and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have my headphones. I have to hear everything. Additional part of the tip, if you can, get some additional headphones. Like, get you some wired headphones or something to just throw in your bag. Always just have them. If you're really like adamant about like having headphones on, I know how I am about listening to music. I'm just like, oh, I can't. Pack some snacks. You probably feel like, oh, I'm not gonna be hungry. Oh, it's just gonna be a couple of class, this, that. There are gonna be some times where you just gonna, like, you're in a weird time where you are in class and you could really go for a granola bar. And you got some because you brought some. Gum and water can only go so far. So bring some snacks with you that aren't too loud, physically and smell-wise. Most professors don't really care too much about having food as long as it's not like a full-on gourmet meal. Professors are really understanding that way. The right ones. Make a checklist. Do whatever you need to do to make sure all the stuff that you have the night before, even if you're rushing, because it blows me that if I'm running late and I still have to pack my bag in the morning, I'm like, oh man, my laptop, it's a mess. Just do it the night before. Take your time. It's gonna be okay. Number 4, sometimes you can miss the class. I'm not saying do it all the time. I've got some people on here that are going into college. I'm not saying, and if their parents are watching, I'm not saying miss it all the time. Don't look at me different. I'm saying some days it's like, girl, sometimes you don't want to go to class. And some days, if it's a review day and you don't really need it, trust, I'm not going to class. If it's a day where the professor opens up for an hour and they're like, hey, if you got questions, close the laptop. I'm not going in there. If I don't need it, I don't need it. This is what I do. My school has, a trimester system. So we have 3 quarters, 10 weeks, an optional 4th for the summer, but it's really dependent on how much you want to do in the summer. I don't take summer classes. The entire quarter, I take 2 class days out, right? So essentially there's 20 days of class for me because I go in for class 2 days out of the week. So there's going to be a point where, let's say 1 week I'm out, the other week I'm out. There's a specific time that I do this. It's very pivotal. I have this calculated, okay? I choose the specific days of where I can not go to class at points where I'm like, okay, this is fine. I'm not missing anything. It's in the beginning of the quarter and like post midterm. Right before that sweet spot of like, okay, let's shift into stuff for the final. Right after midterm. If you want to miss a day and it's week 3, you're probably not missing much. You're not missing so much that now you're behind. We just finished the syllabus quiz and maybe a couple of introductory assignments, but like other than that, you're fine. You can put some times in there where you're like, I could really just use a day of not going to class, especially if you're a commuter, because being a commuter is so physically taxing. One of those days where you just don't feel like waking up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. to make your class at 9 a.m., you can sleep in. It's okay. That's why you text your classmates. 5, like I mentioned before, stick to a schedule. I went nearly 4 years of not having class on Friday. I think there was 1 quarter where I had class on Friday, but I barely went to that class because I had somebody put my attendance in for me. It's fine. They never figured it out. It was like a class of 80 people. They weren't really checking for me. And I aced the class, so it's like, you know what I mean? It's not that serious. They didn't really know. But don't do that a lot. Don't do that. Don't be like me. I was just slick with it. You know what I mean? With that being said, though, Tuesdays and Thursdays are great for me. From the wise words of Maury from Tuesdays with Maury, I'm a Tuesday person. So I enjoy going to class on a Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Nice little pockets of time where I can just do homework. Tuesday, Thursdays are usually days where I'm not doing any homework because I'm already just sponging up everything and my body is moving. I'm maybe walking about 10,000 steps as far as commuting. And if I really have to do some homework for that day, if it was like an assignment due after class or at 5 p.m., which sucks. I hate when professors do that. But most of the times, maybe think about how much your brain can really handle if you're going into class, especially if you have multiple classes throughout the day. 7, be honest with your professors. I don't think the amount of excuses really help your case if there's a situation going on into which you didn't finish an assignment. Just be honest. I'm so sorry for my negligence of not putting this assignment in on time. I had this going on. Just be honest. There's no need of saying like, oh, unless somebody actually died, it's really important for you to just have that open line of transparency with your professors because they're also people too. Once you realize that you respect them enough to be honest with them, to respect not only them, but their class and the curriculum that they teach, even if they've been teaching it for like 20 years, you're still being open and honest with them. Like, they deserve that much. I would rather take a couple days and do an assignment with some points docked off than just blowing it off and doing anything to submit it on time, or submit it with barely any like preparation and get an F. That's me. If you're different, that's a different situation. My senior year of undergrad, I was taking 20 credits, and I was letting him know, I was like, hey, I'm taking 20 credits. It's a lot to juggle right now. If I could just have an extra day. And my professor gave me like 3. If you're just honest and with the right professors, they'll more than likely be able to be flexible with you as long as you're honest with them. It doesn't take much to be honest. You would think. Leading right into my next tip, vet your professors. Go online and see all the professors. Majority of the professors that you look into on Rate My Professor, more than likely they're going to be on there. If you have conversations with people, if you know a lot of people on campus and you can't find the professor online, just ask around, maybe. You might not have the best luck, but at the same time, it doesn't hurt to ask, like, hey, have you taken this class by such and such, by this person? How'd they go? Oh, they were terrible? Got it. Because the teaching experience can completely change how you see a class. I've taken this, what class did I take? Oh my gosh. It was like, it was an HR class. It was a communications class, but I mean, I hated it so much to a point where I don't even remember the title of the course. It was completely asynchronous. But just because a class is asynchronous doesn't mean that it's not enjoyable. I took an online class about video game ethics and computers, and I thought that was one of the greatest classes I've ever taken. It's just dependent on how you teach the class. I don't remember what this class was. Trent, put it somewhere so I can go back and figure it out. But it was so boring. But what really revived it is the amount of conversations I had with my classmates and my partners for projects. So I'm like, if I had known anything about that professor, I probably wouldn't have taken the class. But at the same time, I probably wouldn't have had enough credentials to take my minor in communication. So I guess I had to do it. Number 9, take classes you enjoy. Granted, you're gonna be in all the classes that you ever need to take for your degree. You're gonna have your gen eds, but slide in a really fun class in there. Your college course catalog has so many fun, silly, goofy classes that you probably didn't even fathom that were actually classes. Like, this is one of those things in college that you can really, really enhance your knowledge from. You don't have to just go to college just for the degree. You can learn about other stuff. The amount of things that I've learned just from other classes, my anthropology class, I learned so much in that class. And it was so much fun. Granted, it was a part of my like science inquiry class, but go beyond the bounds of what you want to go to school for. Some of those fun classes are going to be taken up really quickly. There's a lot of college campuses that have like wine tasting classes or like the study of beer or whatever. And if you're someone who's into understanding wines, the notes of it, like, you know, all of that stuff, something I'm interested in, get on those classes early because they take up really fast. I was never really able to take any of those classes because they filled up really quick, but it's one of those mini classes amongst so many other ones. There was a bowling class that I've seen before. Some people go out and kayak. Just take the leap. If it's in your schedule, try it out. Whoever is contributing to your finances in school, whether it's you out of your own pocket, your parents, your legal guardian, whoever, make use of that money being spent. And you can look back on it now and say, like, I fully, wholeheartedly enjoyed my time in college because I took the classes that I never thought would be classes before. There's classes on K-pop. Like, the sky's the limit, honestly. And not everyone is going to be your friend by the end of college. And that's okay. It's okay. It's just kind of just like high school. You know, sometimes you outgrow people. And sometimes if you're an out-of-state person, you got people back at home that you were locked in with. If those are friendships that you truly, truly cherish, that you don't see them in any other part of your life other than like forever, Make those a priority then. So many friendships that I've cultivated from being away, being online, because, you know, it's one of those things like this is the only thing that you have to build this relationship, to strengthen this relationship. And if this is what we got, this is what we're going to do. But no, at the end of the day, people find themselves, people find new identities, they find new morals, they find new hobbies that don't align with you anymore. Or maybe they make you even stronger. Not even just, you know, I was just speaking to the people who, like, you know, your out of state friends, your home away friends, but your college students, like your fellow college friends, like your roommates, the people you went in class with. Sometimes you've got some really cool friends that you've made simply by having the same major and being in the same schools, like the same like college of communication, stuff like that. But all of a sudden, one of your friends up and wants to be a finance major, and that's completely on the other side of campus, and you guys don't really hang out as much. That's just how life happens. If you guys still want to be friends, just do homework together. Oh, I'm meeting up after this class in this hall at this time. Oh, I get out of this class, we can meet halfway. That's how it works. Don't feel like all is lost when a friendship is like, if it's really worth it. If it's really worth it. I must emphasize if it's really worth it. Number 11, explore the idea of another major. Within the first 2 years, of course. Granted, that's inevitable. Maybe around like year 3, you're like, ooh, I think I want to do this other major. It happens. I mean, if you can swing it, I mean, by all means, but I've never been in that state where I didn't have enough to change. Like if I had to change, I did it around sophomore year so I can solidify it, because I'm just taking my gen eds at this point. That's why I'm like, circle around, try some classes out that fall into still getting your course requirements, because if you're just taking a lot of electives and you're not really doing much, then it's like, okay, you don't want to add extra fees and extra finances to like take another year if it ends up being like that. But I will say, just explore it. Have conversations with your friends. This is why it's so cool to have multiple friends that are in multiple majors, because when you have a conversation about not only their major, but what does their classrooms look like? What are their conversations looking like? How do they view the world differently simply by having this major? If you're having those conversations with people, you really open up your lens to being like, you know what? Can I find myself in this community, in this lens? If not, then try something else. But if you're fully headstrong about the thing that you've been in since you were 8 years old, go ahead. I'm just saying it's okay to change things up. If you've been that person, be like, I'm gonna be a doctor, and all of a sudden you hate the idea of being a doctor. Okay, try something else out. It's okay. It's fine. This is where you find yourself. Number 12, please. I can't stress this enough. In your first year, when you see those grades, do not beat yourself up. Please. There are so many people that I knew who were like gifted, like in the gifted program, had above 4.0 GPAs in high school. And when they get into college, they're barely getting by with C's. And it's like, dude, just like what I said in the beginning, you're shifting your brain. This is a new curriculum. If you're out of state, it's a completely different way of how they teach. You know what I mean? This is college. This is college level stuff. We're doing the ranks. And to give you a better understanding, colleges don't even look at freshman high school grades because they know the shift from 8th grade to 9th grade is already hard as it is. If colleges don't even look at freshman grades, don't look at your freshman grades in college. It's just that simple. If you realize that you can be better, then go the extra mile. Have a conversation. This is why they have office hours. Your professor, they want to help you. They want you to be better. They don't want to have you multiple times in the class. They don't want you to fail the class. If they're a hard grader, and I've been hit with a few hard grade professors, you gotta hit them. You gotta go more than office hours. You gotta go to the writing center. You gotta get tutoring. Find all of your resources that are good to you, that are more than likely free just by being a student. That's why you utilize being a student for as long as you can. It's so important. Do not beat yourself up about the first year of classes and grades because you're just getting used to all of the teaching styles within the school. Some professors are really lenient. Some professors are really strict. They wouldn't let this pass in college. They wouldn't let... There are some times where I have gotten an email from a professor and they just didn't feel like coming to class. Or they're just like, if nobody's showing up, I'm not going to show up. So we're not going to have class. Please take your time. If you know that you are capable of doing great in school, and let this be a thing, if you haven't been in school, like it's been a couple of years, like you had a gap year or two after high school and you get right back into college and you're like, man, this sucks. Oh my gosh. Please, just keep going. Just keep going. Ask for help. I know you can do it. I know you can. 13, utilize the resources. Ask for help. Get your money's worth of going to school. College is not cheap. And there are so many things that you get for free for being a student, more than just t-shirts. You can get software. If you want to start a little college YouTube channel or something like that, there are some schools that if you just sign in with your college email, you can get Adobe Suite for free. Some classes give you that and they give you it for a little bit, but utilize that. Sometimes they give you a great discount. They give you for being a student. YouTube Premium does it. Spotify does it. I'm not sure if Apple does, but just being a student in that campus, you've got so many. Just like think of anything. Like if I want to get clothes for an interview, there are some schools like mine have a career closet. They help you with career counseling. And they not even just with alumni, but with people who are still actively going to the school. If you want to look at your resume and have it looked at, you don't want to pay somebody to get it like reworked. You can go into the career center, have it get looked at, do some interview prep. There are so many things that your college gives to you for free, and I need you to step out and do it. Because there's so much money being put into your education. I would hate for you to think that you did not utilize it wisely because you just assumed that it didn't. Like it wasn't. There's nothing for you. Like you didn't. It couldn't be given to you from the school. Try. This is a thing. Someone always calls me while I'm recording. Every time. Like every time. It was Tay, by the way. Hey, Tay. Number 14. Go to the dorm hall events. Now, if you live in a dorm, your RAs are more than likely going to hound you with emails and group me stuff. And granted, it'll be annoying. But this is their college experience too. And they took a lot of time and a lot of training to put together all of these cute little events that they want to do for you just simply living on the floor. There are so many times where my roommate and we were coming back and we found out that our floor was giving out like free succulents or something. Like you get a free succulent and that's it. Like you sign up, just make sure that you sign your name that you were there. It's just the amount of involvement that they want to produce on their floor as RAs. It's going to be fun. There was some presentation nights we did. There were some bingo nights that happened. Just as far as being a resident at one of the dorm halls, you get so many cute little things, so many cute little memories. It's just go branch out and see who else lives amongst that, because then you can make friends there and be like, hey, I locked myself out. Can you let me into the dorm? And that. It makes a world of a difference, and it builds community. It builds community. Even though it's a little hard to make friends, I'm still giving you like active ways of making friends passively and easily. Hopefully easily. Number 15, make one challenge for yourself for either the year or the semester. One challenge. You get so caught up in school, right? You kind of got, you got your groove, you got your routine, your rhythm of waking up at a certain time, having this breakfast, getting at a specific time so that you can make sure that the right breakfast that you want doesn't go away because everybody likes this kind of muffin that you like and everybody likes this gelato that everybody, you know what I mean? You've got a system. But you fall into that point where maybe around that time you start feeling like, okay, everything is a little too mandated. I'm starting to feel like a robot. I'm starting to feel like a machine. So when I say challenge, maybe try something new. If you've never been a part of a club, try something out. There's so many clubs on college campuses. You wouldn't even begin. There's a ukulele club. I think, I don't know from which college I went to because I've been to two. there was a ukulele class, a ukulele club. You know what I mean? There's a French. If you want to learn a new language, there's so many people that have French, Italian, ASL, all of these language clubs that you can just be a part of for the time being. You don't have to be a long-term member. Just try it out. If you want to be like, hey, I want to be a part of a club for a month, do that. Challenge yourself. Challenge something else out of the norm of you being in school, because you get wound up in that a lot. And if that's really something that all your brain can really fathom, that's completely understandable. But if you feel like you want to switch something up, try it out. When I was a freshman, and especially since I was out of state, I was hanging out with friends within campus, we were on the school campus, and there was a part of me that was just like, I gotta get home before I get in trouble. You're in college now. If you have a thing where, and sometimes it's a point where if you have friends, depending on how their dorm is set up, some people sleep over at the dorms and be like, I have an 8 a.m. right next to this, right next to your dorm. Can I just stay there? Sure. It happens a lot, more than you think. So when you have conversations with your friends and you guys hang out, sometimes the conversations get deep. Sometimes the hangout is just too great. You just want to keep those good vibes going. If you guys have a full-on understanding of hey, I don't have anywhere to be in the morning. If we hang out and it's 3 a.m., sure. Because sometimes, who's to say when's the next time you guys will be able to have a long-term conversation like that again? Maybe in another week, maybe in a couple more hours. But know that you have your freedom. Just be useful. Be smart about it. You know what I mean? Don't be out too late to a point where you have a class. You got to get up at 8 a.m. and it's a math class. This is my mom. It's going to be fine. Be useful with your time. If you know you're going to be up early in the morning, don't be so late, especially if you're not a morning person. Just be smart. 17, find support people. Realize how important it is, how friendships are so sacred, right? And I had a class, one of my favorite classes, actually one of the classes that I ended my undergrad career with, was talking about the future and talking about the art of gathering and how people want a village, but they don't want to be a villager. And doing the work of building a community is so vulnerable. It takes a lot of time. It's patience. It's all of the things. Having friendships aren't just sunshines and rainbows. True friendships come from a point where, hey, you did something wrong and I want to tell you about it. Hey, you pushed a boundary with me and I don't want that to happen. I still love you, but I want us to have a clear understanding of each other. Finding support people, whether it's your roommate, some random person you met in class, counselor, all of the things, whoever, you know what I mean? That's important. Have that line of communication. A former professor, Julie, she's awesome. She's wonderful. She's in one of the classes that I took called The Art of Storytelling, which is something I love. The Art of Storytelling. That's one of those classes that you're I never thought, of course, if you're but still, we would schedule Zoom calls and I would talk about my creative efforts outside of school, a project that I'm working on, a book that I'm writing, or if anything in that nature, if I'm reading during class or before class, she'd ask me what book, and she was writing a book. And when I got into my master's program, she was one of the people that was a letter of recommendation for me. I was scared. I was like, can you write a letter of recommendation for me? She's like, of course I'll write one for you. And I was like, I don't know. It was really cool. Having people in your, having professionals in your arsenal is very, very important in your college career, because this is networking. This is having a greater understanding of your expertise. People in your corner for free because they taught you and they know what kind of student you are. So it kind of was the best of both worlds. Number 18. We're getting close. We're almost done. Do not grant people so much access. What you can handle is important. All nights are going to be the same. What did I write this from? Why did I write this? Because I wrote this a little bit ago. All nights are going to be the same. Why did I write all nights are going to be the same? I mean, yes, all nights at the end of the day will be but I don't know. Why did I write that? Do not grant people so much access. Yes, that's very true. What you can handle is important. All nights are going to be the same. I wish I added some context to that. Maybe I was speaking it to a point where you can't really control so much of the things in your life, so don't try and control it. Don't try to put too much energy on it, whether it's like a conflict amongst roommates, classmates, friends, whatever. At the end of the day gonna end. So it's like the nights are gonna be the same. It's just at the end of the day, is this gonna matter? Sleep on it. Do the things. I really don't know why I wrote that. I wish I did, but maybe it'll come back. I don't know. Number 19. Stop performing. One more stop to the real world. This is practice. Yes. College in of itself is its own bubble. It's an introduction to adulthood before you actually step into the line of adulthood. Not to say that you don't experience adulthood while you're in college, but like you're still under that surveillance of being a college student. Simply wearing specific clothes, people would just be like, oh, you're in college. I bet you're in college. The amount of college kid clothing that I wear, like slouchy clothes, it's a certain look. It's a certain persona that college kids have that you're just like, oh, yeah, you're just a kid. But not much now. You don't have to perform for people. The real people will already applaud you without needing to perform in of itself. Number 20, wear the shower shoes. Wear the shower shoes. You realize, for the people who live on campus, you realize that not a lot of people have home training. It's astounding to me. Like, it's disgusting, but the amount of things that you will avoid catching by just wearing shower shoes, just getting some flip-flops, do whatever. Like, everyone does not take their hair out of the communal showers. And it's disgusting. It's gross. Wipe all the things down. Even though there's custodial staff coming in clockwork because of this, take the extra mile, bring some antibacterial wipes with you, bring some Lysol, bring some Clorox. Do whatever you need to do. Me and my roommate, we all, like, every time we have to go to the bathroom, bleach spray, wiping it down, making sure all the things are fine before we actually use the bathroom, because we're like, no. It was a silly one, but like please don't, this is not your house. You do whatever you want in your house, but do not go barefoot. Oh my gosh, there were so many people that I would see that would just walk out of the bathroom, out of like the rooms of the shower rooms, walk out into the bathroom floor, and then walk onto the carpet to go into their room. Oh, it's disgusting. This absolutely disgusting. Like, I couldn't. It made my toes curl. It's disgusting. Just bring the shoes and all the stuff. 21, embrace and record the change. You may not be somebody who likes to take a lot of pictures. You may be someone who just doesn't care too much to be on camera, whatever the case may be, but record your growth in some way, whether you like to write, whether you like to listen to music. I have so many playlists of years of when I was 18, when I was 19, when I was 20, all of the years when I was in college. Like, what was I listening to when I was a freshman in college? And I listen back to those, and I am transported back into those moments where I was walking on campus. I was walking on the park. I was in class waiting for my other classmates to show up. Something. Keep track of your college life, and it's so sacred. I can't fathom that enough, how wonderful it is to go back on memories that you remember so vividly just by a scent or a certain paragraph that you wrote and you dated because it was like a really sad, terrible day for you, and you was just like, man, this day sucked. And you can go back on it and look at the video and be like, man, I remember that day. That day pissed me off. I've had some terrible days in college where I'm like, I can look back on that now. I'm like, man, it's really eerie to think about the idea of my past self will never know who I am, but I know exactly who she was. That's so interesting. It makes you think of that song, like, well, you don't know me, but I know you. It's kind of a weird, like, kind of creepy song, but like, you get it. 22, be mindful of the gap year. If you plan on taking a gap year, what do you plan on doing with it? Do you just want to chill? Is this the thing where you're like, man, I could use not going to school for a while? Sure. But are you financially sound for that? Are you mentally sound for that? Are you socially able to do whatever you need to do? Are you safe within those means to be like, I can take the gap year? If you're someone who's like, maybe school's not for me, I want to work for a year full time and see if this is something that could teach me a lot better, whatever the case may be, sure, do that 100%. But the gap year is a gap year for a reason, because you're just like, this is just a little trial run. If you're like, hey, I just got this internship and I can't do school and the internship, I'm gonna like dip for a little bit, and if the internship either ends, it grants me something, I know what to do afterwards. Just do what you need to do. There's nothing wrong with taking a gap year. It's what you do with it. There are a lot of statistics about how people get out of a gap year and they never go back. Either they like, it's by choice or just whatever, life happens, whatever the case may be. But I was amongst one of those people that went back to school. And I loved it because I love school. So I don't know if that just like, it depends on the person. 23, explore your campus. Find your spot. There's so many benches, there's so many swings, there's so many little library nooks, a certain space, a little study room that you love, really next to the window of the quad, and the sun hits it right at the specific time of day. Whatever. You don't really need a reason to find a spot, just make it your spot. Some days you'll be like, dang, somebody took my spot, but have a backup spot if you need to. Number 24, don't feel committed to the class. You can drop it. There was a class that I really enjoyed, but I realized that the amount of workload just did not work well with the rest of my classes. And I was like, I'm just going to drop it. There's windows where you can drop the class and it doesn't show up on your transcript. Make sure you hit those deadlines. If it happens, post the deadline. It happens. It's not the end of the world. It really isn't. Just don't make it a habit. If it's a gen ed class and you have to do it, yeah, you're going to have to stick this one out, buddy. Like, you're going to have to. There are some classes that I've hated. I had a geographic information systems class, and it was the most tedious, stupidest thing I've ever taken in my entire life. I was like, this is just so ridiculous. It's just, you're following a tutorial, and you're just clicking and doing the things. Oh, go to this part of the graph and highlight it and label this. Then copy it and do it with another thing. And you're doing this for like an hour for multiple tutorials. And it's just like, but you know, I aced the class. I just needed to complain about it. 25, explore your needs. If you need something, as far as like, you need an extra boost for class, like maybe in English you didn't need so much help, but now you do. Sure, go and have a conversation with a writing center. Most schools have a writing center. I don't know any other college that wouldn't have one. You are at this point independent. Even if you are in state, you are living in this bubble of this college dorm. You are responsible for your education, like your school. You know, if you don't pay your education, that's a different story. Are you someone that's just like, maybe I don't like this hobby anymore and I want to try something else? That's okay. We're humans. We're bound to change. We're bound to start things over. We're bound to see things a different way. It's just how life goes. We deserve to explore the things that we want to try out, because after a while it's like, I guess I don't like doing this hobby. I guess I don't like knitting as much as I used to. What about crocheting? I don't like the fact that I am staying up and doing this assignment for this amount of hours when I'm not even really enjoying it. Sometimes you will not enjoy the class because the class isn't fun, but if it has something to do with your major, you're like, I would rather kind of do something else. Try it out. Step into a class. If it's okay with the professor, if you see a course catalog and you're like, man, this class seems pretty cool, and they're taking it and they're like teaching it for the next quarter or something like that, you can email them and be like, hey, I'm really interested in your class. Is it okay if I like sit in and just see how the class goes? You never know unless you ask. It's okay. There are a lot of times where I've had a professor even invite us to a grad class, and 26. Finally, take 1 to 2 weeks before graduating by reflecting the work that you did and taking that moment. There's a video that I made, the one before this one, and I did so much work pushing up into the time like a week before so that I can really bask in that moment of like, I did so much work. It's 5 years, 2 schools, commuting, not commuting, on camp, like all of that stuff. You don't realize, like, because professors, they still assign work. There are other students that are taking the course that aren't graduating, and then you realize you get caught up in the mix, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 bam, you're on stage. You get the diploma, then you're back, and you're like, whoa, what was that? I've heard so many stories of people who are like, I just blacked out. No, I did not want that. So I took the time, really, really locked in, and did all of my homework at a specific great time, aced all my finals, and walked that stage knowing that I had a few days to really bask in and really enjoy my family coming in, my friends driving in. My friend Demaya, my best friend Demaya, she came in and drove the 6 hours from Ohio to come and celebrate me. And it was a wonderful thing of realizing like, I am done. And I have so much to celebrate for that. All in all, I'm gonna leave you with a little bit of a soapbox, even though I've been talking and my throat is getting that vocal fry because I've been talking for about an hour now. Just because college isn't for everybody doesn't mean learning isn't. So it's so important that even if you're going past high school and you're not thinking of college, find some line of education somewhere. Whether you want to keep reading, whether you want to learn something, learn a new trade, you're still learning, but challenge your brain, stimulate your brain. Because the way that I've seen kids now that are so reliant on technology and not reliant on the communication that they have with their friends, their peers, it's starting to scare me. The thing is, with me, I love music, and I think when it comes to the arts and the Black community, I think athletics have always been pushed. I preach this a lot. I hate that. And there's so many times where I hear guys that are like, man, if I just did this, if I conditioned more, I would have been in the league. How about if you were in the library for a few more hours? You could have gone to Stanford. You could have gone to Yale. You could have been valedictorian, something. If we need to pick up the books again. We need to aid our minds with literature, because the amount of education that is being preserved and the amount of knowledge that is being neglected, it's getting scary out here. Nobody's knowing what to do anymore. Nobody's understanding the complexities of all of the things, because one thing about history, we're bound to repeat it if we forget it. And it's so important. And it's just like, and then the teachers and the librarians, they're the ones that get paid the least. They're the ones that are preserving all of this knowledge for us to remember beyond us, when we living lives without us after we're long gone. So please continue to learn, whatever that looks like. I hope this helped, and I hope this did something for you. And I just happy researching, happy exploring, happy learning, happy growing. And that's it. Love you, bye.